start is just 3 games into conference play, sort of assess where your team is at, in particular coming off those 2 big road wins.
Yeah, coming off a good week on the road, and it's something that this young group last year had not accomplished, was being able to go get 2 on the road, and so I think that was big for our group. But 3 games in, it's early in the conference slate. It's you're at a point where there are things that we've got to continually emphasize and get better. I was not pleased with our effort against Sam Houston. That wasn't anything to take away with how they played. It was I just didn't think we played with the effort and the intensity and the energy we needed to start conference play. And hopefully that's been addressed. And I feel like we had a great response last week on the road, and some tough travel conditions, and being able to defend, rebound, take care of the ball. That's how you win on the road. And I thought our group did that for the most part. But, it's certainly a process, a work in progress, and we've got to continually show up every day. And this week will be a tough challenge, and we've got to be able to turn the page and take what we did last week and those experiences and continue to forge ahead and get better.
We talked so much in the offseason about getting more ball handlers and just kind of getting people just, I guess, maybe a little bit more distributed. You guys lead the league in assists after finishing last. I guess just talk about the ability of G, Lex, Paris to kind of distribute and kind of take the load off each other at times.
Yeah, I think that the versatility that each of them brings, and then you bring in Joy Madison Key off the bench, who is probably the best downhill attacker of them all, and we haven't seen that consistently from her. But I think it just gives us the flexibility to move people around based off who's guarding them, what matchups we favor or that are favorable to us, and how do we get them in those spots in order for them to be at their best. And they've done a great job. I think Saturday G and Lex go 12 assists, 1 turnover. G plays they both play 30-plus minutes, and that's coming off a game on Thursday night where they valued the basketball really well, and Lex has 17 and goes 5 of 7 from 3. And I think they've got – it's not like last year Paris had to get 20 or we didn't have a chance. Well, we've got balance, and I think that makes it more difficult for teams to tee off and focus on just one player, because we've got some versatility and ability to score from more than 1 or 2 people.
I remember after the SFA game, Lex was talking about something about cowbells related to assists. I'm curious, what does that mean for you?
Yeah, it's anytime we can get 2 guarding 1 and make the extra pass and get that ball movement, we call that a cowbell. And so and even if you don't make the shot, and the cowbell is just drawing attention to it. It's honoring. It's like a hockey assist. Honoring the process of getting to that in that possession, and are we getting a good shot because of unselfish play, but making the right read or making the right kill cut? And our players really buy into that, and our managers will ring a cowbell at practice, and obviously you can't do it in a game, but you'll see our bench over there, ringing their cowbell, and I think it's just buying into that. But I also think that's why you see our now. Obviously, you got to make shots. But getting good shots allows for rhythm offense. And I think our players, put up enough shots, and they're proficient enough shooting the basketball that if we can get them in good spots, that those shots will go down. And they've really bought into that. And so I think Lex is probably the one you hear least about. And she's just steady, and you just know what you're going to get from her every game, and she handles it well. And she's unselfish and wants her team to be successful. It's allowed G and her 3-point numbers to be what they are, and it's been a really good thing for all of them. I think it's taken pressure off of Paris. We're seeing Avery, come into her own of where she ended last year, and really kind of turn the corner for us, which helps us, a great deal offensively as well.
I was going to say, she starts the first 2 games of the year not really efficient, and then obviously these last 2 games confidence-wise, especially distributing too. It feels like she's kind of found a different part of her game as well.
Yeah, she was on triple-double watch there on Thursday night. I think had 7 assists, but she's rebounding and defending. And honestly, it wasn't her offense that got her out of the starting lineup. She stopped defending, and she wasn't defending the way that our group needed to. We weren't getting stops. We were very poor defensively those first 2 games, and we had to figure out, hey, we're going to play hard defensively or you're not going to play. And I think it's taken some of them some time to figure that out, and I think she's really bought into that. And I think probably I visited with her about 10 days before Christmas break, and I really saw a change in her and how she approached practice, and just her understanding the importance of her playing at a certain level and with a certain intensity on both ends of the floor, because it brings a different dimension to our group.
Feels like Contreras and Davis, obviously from the three-point line, are going to be some of the keys of obviously winning Thursday. What's the message to the group of making sure they're held in check?
Yeah, like, obviously one of our game goals is, holding their leading scorer below their average. So your focus on the perimeter will be on those two players. They're two older players. They remind me a lot of us last year in terms of, I think they got 7, 8 freshmen, and they start, a number of them. And we've got to do I think 3 of them, like us last year, and they're talented. They went through some growing and learning in the non-conference, and we knew that they would continue to get better, but I think they're playing with a lot of confidence. But I think a lot of it stems from the play of those two, Davis and Contreras. They're shooting the ball well, they're playing with confidence, and I think they needed them to do that. And they maybe not were getting that from them consistently in the non-conference, which is what non-conference is for. And Coach Insel, we always know that his teams are, once you get to conference play, they're going to be ready to go, and they're going to defend hard. They're going to be very scout specific in terms of how they're going to guard you. They're going to do what they do offensively, and you've got to be able to be tough enough to handle that.
Curious, how has Isla how have you seen her embrace kind of just a different role? I mean, obviously she starts 20-plus games last year, kind of a little bit more of just a bench weapon you can bring in certain matchups. How have you kind of seen her embrace that?
I thought she's handled it well. I'd like for her to be more aggressive. I'd like for her not to handle it so well, not in terms of not being a great teammate, but, push for more. And we've challenged her with that. We're doing some things differently offensively this year with this group, and some of it's personnel based, but a lot of it is based off of what we feel like is going to win in February and March. And, she's still adapting and adjusting to that. But I think you're starting to see her getting her legs under her a little bit. I thought she had a couple of big minutes Saturday against Liberty. We're going to play teams that have a post player like Emmy Stout, where you've got to have some length and size. She blocked a couple of shots there in that second quarter run that we went +10 on to kind of stretch the game right before half. And we need her. She brings a different dimension. She's shooting, I think, 76%, something like that, from the field. She's been very efficient. We've got to get her some touches and some spots where she can be successful, and then obviously as a rim protector for us defensively.
Ben, you got anything?
No, I'm good. Good stuff.
All right.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Somebody in here is really happy the Bears won. You panic for about.
If they banned the fourth quarter, I don't know how many wins we have.
You got a pretty good quarterback.
All right, Coach, just get us started. Now, already 5 games into conference play. How would you assess where your team is right now in regards to league play?
It's a great question. Still growing, still trying to learn, as well as the coaching staff too. Like, we're in times where we're just turning over guys every year, and the continuity and the togetherness that you usually have is not there. Do we have some guys that can make some plays in the room? We do. Do we have some guys that do some things? We do, but this is not an individual sport; it's a team sport, and so it's all about how you can get guys to gel together and play together, and that's been the struggle, especially on the road.
Remember we talked a little bit ago about just giving DJ some confidence. I was kind of struck yesterday. They put up the video of him kind of breaking down his film, and he makes the point of I don't care if I miss 10 shots in a row. He's like, I don't miss game winners. I'm just when you have a player that confident in those moments when, like you said, maybe early on you didn't really know who that guy was, to kind of someone that's firmly stating I am that guy for this team, just how much confidence that gives you guys, I'm sure.
It gives me a lot because the 2 situations we put him in, he's delivered. So it gives me a lot of confidence. But I knew he had a high belief in his ability. Once he showed me that I could believe in it too, I've just kind of unleashed him and let him go. To be honest, what people don't understand is when he was missing all those jump shots in the game, I didn't pull him over and tell him stop shooting. I pulled him over and said, shoot him with confidence. Stop hesitating and shoot him. And he came to me after the game and said, Coach, it was just weird. I felt like I was open every play. And I was like, well, you've earned the right to shoot it every play if that's what it is. So he was like, it won't happen again. And so I'm proud of the way he's fought and put this team on his shoulders. He's done a lot of different things. He's logged a lot of minutes since the Indiana State game, and so I'm proud of him for that.
And you mentioned the road trip at Middle. You felt like just the lack of effort as far as getting out the three-point shooters. Just how much confidence do you feel like the guys have just coming back home and saying, this is our get-back opportunity?
You know what? I'm glad we get to play them now instead of in another month where we lose that feeling that they kicked our tails, that we get to get it right back at them. And we didn't play with effort at all. If you look at the teams that played them since, UTEP being able to beat them, UTEP was fighting over ball screens, really physical, really took it to them. Sam Houston the same. Sam Houston started off really slow. They started looking like they were going to have a similar game to ours, and Sam Houston just turned up the fight. New Mexico State fought them, and they outdid New Mexico State on the road. But still, you have to fight teams like that, and we didn't come with any fight. But it goes back to our lack of togetherness, our lack of being in one unit, and we got to understand we can't do it all alone. We got to do it together. We got to do it with some effort and physicality and toughness.
We talked so much about AJ as a ball handler, point guard, and he's averaging basically 5 assists in league play so far. Where have you seen him? I know scoring-wise efficiency maybe not there consistently, but he continues to make plays and get guys involved.
He would be better served if he would get those assists up, then his scoring opportunities would come a little easier. I think when you try to do it in the reverse as a point guard, it's hard. Because once you try to do it yourself, then they focus on you. If you start giving everybody else looks, then the team starts looking better, then the opportunities open up for point guards. I think, we've been spoiled here. Sean Newman was a master at it. He would just get everybody involved. You look up, and now he has 20 points because he made free throws. He got downhill when they stopped letting him throw the lobs. And then every now and then they would go under ball screens. He would have hit a couple of threes. And so that's the recipe for a point guard. And we're still trying to get AJ to grow to that.
In the last couple of weeks has really found just a role and obviously some confidence as well in the court. Where have you seen him kind of take charge, I guess, in the role?
To be honest, he has taken charge more of in the defensive end. I know you guys don't see it in the stat sheet, but he alters so many shots, or he keeps guys from trying to go in there and score, and so he still has to grow at that. West Kentucky finished the ball at the rim. I was proud of him for that. He has to be consistent in that. But if he can stay on the floor for longer stints of time, I think that was by far his most minutes he played in any game this year. If we can get him to play about 25 minutes a game, I think we could be a better team.
I know Scooter and Avery, they impact the game in a lot of different ways, but obviously you are relying on those guys as far as shooters. And I think right now they're both under 30% from three. Just where do you feel like from them they can just kind of get that part of their game back?
You know, with Avery, you can see it changing. Avery's trying to find other ways to help us win. In this game, I was proud of him because he was on the sideline talking, but we got a rebound. And he led us in rebounding. He's actually our best rebounder in conference play. I know people look at the season totality stats, but in conference play, he's our best rebounder. And he kind of took on that role when he saw the ball wasn't going in. And that's when you see growth in players, when they start to say, well, what can I do to help us win? And not about, but we need them to start hitting shots. I mean, at the end of the day, like, you were a good shooter when you came here. You got to catch up to the level and put the time in to be able to do that. Scooter the same way, but Scooter's kind of reverse. I think Scooter, even though his shot's not falling, I think he has to learn, to be more solid defensively. And if he's more solid defensively and rebounds a little better, he's a guard with size. You can't just be out there and you average the same amount of rebounds DJ and AJ does. And so that's where I challenge him the most, is affect the game in another way when the ball's not going in. Guard the ball better, be more physical with your stature and your size, and then help rebound the basketball and let's push and make good plays on the other end and use your physical, your size and your athleticism to finish at the rim. Let's stop settling for all these jump shots. And so I've challenged all of them pretty good, and so we're just trying to keep growing our continuity towards February and March.
You led for only a minute and a half in that Delaware game, down 4 in overtime, and still able to get that win. What do you think that did for the team from a belief factor, knowing that you can come back and overcome some adversity in a game and come back and win?
The truth is, like, I don't care if I lay up for 1 minute and we won. I mean, at the end of the day, or 1 second and we won. Like, at the end of the day, the goal is to play 40 minutes. And we played 45 minutes, and in that 1 minute, Delaware played, 44. 44 and 30, 42 and 30 seconds or whatever, 43 and 30 seconds. So, like, at the end of the day, the goal is to win the game. I never wanted to get too high or too low what the lead was. I always felt like we could play in it. With this team, it's about eliminating our mistakes more so than getting on a run and things of that nature. A lot of times it's us not communicating switches. It's us not stepping up on ball screen coverages. It's us a lot of the time. And again, it goes back to what I tell you guys. Like, we're not a condensed unit together. We're still growing. And usually, when you have guys back like Sean Newman or Daniel Batra, Isaiah Crawford, guys who continue to come back to the program, they understand the program. It helps lead new guys a little more. We didn't have much of that this year, and you can still tell. You can see it. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I love these group of guys. They're great guys, and we've done good things. I don't want to sound too, but we haven't done enough to be the team that we want to be, and we got to still grow to that. The good thing is you want to start playing your best ball by late January, February, because you can play great ball in November and it doesn't matter. And so we're going to try to still fight for the pursuit of that.
Ben, you got anything?
I'm good.
All right.
Coach, I'm just curious. We haven't seen, obviously, Will Jeff out there for a couple weeks. Just, do you have an official status on what he's dealing with? Or?
Yeah, he's dealing with the same knee that he dealt with last year in the patella tendon. Don't have any information. We're still waiting for some more tests to be run to see what his status is. All I do know that there's a possibility of him coming back at this point. I just don't know when.